When it comes to stock market investing, some people just invest randomly by buying shares of a few companies and hoping for the best. But smart investors are disciplined. Smart investors have a strategy in place that they use to do things in the right way. In this video, I am going to talk about 5 globally recognized investing strategies that are used by investors around the world. Also, I'll talk about the pros and cons of each of these strategies so that you can take a decision as to which one suits you the best. Also, I'll talk about the strategy that I personally use for stock market investing. When I refer to the term investing, I'm talking about the long-term investing style in which you make your investments so that you are able to create wealth in a longer period of time. That can even take years. But there are some people who want to make money in the short term. They want to make money quickly and they adopt the path of trading. Trading is not an investing strategy. Still, I'll cover it in this video for the sake of completeness. In short-term trading, you enter a stock with a very short time frame. The time duration between the entry and exit of a stock can range from one day to a few weeks and even months. There are multiple types of short-term trading, which includes swing trading, trend trading, and intraday trading. Intraday trading is the one in which you buy and sell the stocks within the same day. So whatever profit or loss you are making, you're taking that back home within a single day itself. The positive of short-term trading is that it provides you a higher return within a very small duration of time. But then there are a lot of cons when it comes to short-term trading. It can be really risky because of the volatile nature of the market. Most of the people are merely speculating. Almost 95% of the people, they lose money when they do short-term trading. So the chances of you making money when you do trading are really low. Also, it requires a lot of capital to begin with. If you want to make a substantial amount of profit, you have to start with at least a few lakhs. If you are into a full-time job, then you won't be able to invest a lot of time in intraday trading because this requires a lot of time devotion. The next type of investing strategy is income investing. In income investing, you look for avenues that give you a steady stream of income. This can include investing into the stocks of companies which give you good dividends, or it could also mean investing into bonds or debentures which give you a steady interest. Let's first understand what is a dividend. Whenever a company makes profit, it can use that profit in two ways. The first way is to look for further expansion and growth opportunities and invest these profits into that expansion. The second option could be that these profits are passed on to the shareholders in the form of dividends. Whenever a shareholder receives dividends, it comes in the form of hard cash in the bank accounts. Examples of good dividend paying companies would include a lot of PSU companies that give good dividends year over year. There are also private companies like ITC which have a good dividend yield of around 5%. The positives of income investing is that you get steady returns year over year. The negative of income investing is that the stock appreciation would be slower because the company has reached its full potential. It doesn't see future growth opportunities, and that is why it is giving back a lot of profit in the form of dividends to its shareholders. The next type of strategy is value investing. Value investing is something that was popularized by the legendary investor Warren Buffett. In value investing, the basic idea is to identify undervalued stocks, which means that identify companies which are currently on sale. This requires a lot of fundamental analysis, digging into the financial statements of the companies, understand the future growth potential of the companies as well, to come up with the intrinsic value of the company. Intrinsic value is the true value or the actual value of the company. And if the stock's current market price or the current market value is lower than the intrinsic value of the company, it makes a good case for value investing opportunity. An example of value investing opportunity would be the COVID time frame, which started after March of 2020. A lot of companies got devalued because the stock markets crashed, and during that time, a lot of people used that opportunity to make value buys in a lot of companies. Such value investing opportunities are rare, but good investors wait for the right time to pick the right company at the right price. The good part of value investing is that it gives you an opportunity to generate higher returns with lower risk because you are investing in these companies in the time of fear or economic contraction. There are no cons really of value investing, but I can say that value investing requires a lot of research and fundamental analysis for you to come up with the intrinsic value of the company. The next type of strategy is growth investing. In growth investing, you invest in companies that are growing steadily at a great pace. They have been generating consistent profits and revenues over a period of time, and even the future potential of these companies, it looks really good. Growth investing is different from value investing in the context of valuation of the company. In case of growth investing, the focus is not on the valuation of the company, but on the future growth potential of the company. In value investing, we only look for the undervalued companies, but that might not be true for growth investing. We might invest in a company which is currently overvalued, but that's okay because we are positive about the future outlook of the company. The growth investing opportunities can be found majorly in the small and mid-sized companies, but that's not mandatory, and there are good large cap companies as well which fall under the category of growth investing. A good example of large cap company would be DMart or Avenue Supermarts. It is currently growing at a really good pace and it is yet to cover entire India when it comes to its retail operations. The positive of growth investing is that it provides an opportunity for faster stock appreciation. The negative can be that the businesses can take a hit if the economy slows down. The fifth type of strategy is cost averaging strategy or systematic investment plan. This is the best strategy for beginners, and I would say that even if you are well into your investment journey, this could be a good strategy for you. I personally use cost averaging strategy even for my stock purchases. In this case, you would be investing in a diversified portfolio of companies across various sectors of the Indian economy. And you would be doing this consistently in a disciplined fashion. You would pick one particular date in a month on which you would make your entire stock purchases. Whatever the condition of the market is, whether it is good or bad, you would be making a particular investment in all these companies which comprise of your portfolio. These companies could be present across various sectors which would include pharma, IT, automobile, banking, finance, paints, etc. There are three characteristics that you should definitely look in these companies. The first one is competitive advantage, or best, being a monopoly business. A good example of monopoly could be Pidilite, which is the brand behind Fevicol. Whenever you go to market, you never say, give me an adhesive. You always say, give me Fevicol. That's the importance of being a monopoly business. The second characteristic would be a great and ethical management. An example here could be the Tata Group. The third characteristic would be consistent performance. The company should have been performing consistently in the past in terms of generating good revenues and profits, and it also has the potential to do the same even in future. Using these three parameters, you can select companies for your portfolio. So for example, if you want to invest, let's say 10,000 rupees a month, you will pick a particular date, and on that date you would invest 2,000 rupees each in 5 sectors of the Indian economy. If you want to invest more, let's say maybe 20,000, then you can pick either 10 sectors with 1 company each, or probably 5 sectors with 2 good companies from each of these sectors. It's always good to pick the companies or sectors that you understand. If you want to play safe, you can choose the market leaders from each sector. But if you can take a bit of risk, it's always good to select one market leader, and second business could be an emerging business which would provide the growth to your portfolio. For example, if I talk about IT, you can choose TCS and Infosys as the 2 market leader companies. But if you can take a bit of risk, you can choose either TCS or Infosys, and the second company could be something like Happiest Minds or Mindtree, which are the growing IT companies. The good part of this approach is that it would capture volatility on its own, because you would be investing during the ups and downs of the market consistently across each month. You won't have to wait for the stock price to correct, which means that your buying price would average out over time, and in the long run you would be able to generate really good returns. Also, you don't need to have really huge capital at the beginning. You can invest some portion of your monthly savings through this approach, and that would be it. The downside of this approach is that you cannot buy stocks which have a huge cost price. For example, one share of Bajaj Finance, which is a market leader in the Indian finance industry, it itself is more than 7,000 rupees. So if you are planning to invest around 10 to 20,000 rupees, then it might not make sense to buy Bajaj Finance. But if you are someone who can invest more than 50-60,000 every month, then you can definitely invest in these companies which have a higher market price. Now, when it comes to my portfolio, it is divided into two parts. The first part is core portfolio, which is majorly covered by the cost averaging investing strategy. I invest 60% of my money through cost averaging, and that is my core portfolio. I intend to pass on the shares of these companies to my next generation. The second part of my portfolio is satellite portfolio, which is around 40% of my overall investment. Through this, I pick value and growth buying opportunities as and when they appear. I hope the content of this video was useful. If yes, please press the like button. Do subscribe to the channel because I am going to put a lot of good videos even in the future. And also share this video with your family and friends so that they can learn out of this. Thank you for your time and see you in the next video.